Hey YouTube, let me just go ahead and press this Instagram. Hey Instagram, so I'm live on YouTube and Instagram. Today I'm going to talk about why you should sell your products on Shopify. My name is Genevia. I am a copywriter, beauty founder, turned web designer at HB Lighthouse, which is a web design studio, and I help launch or redesign websites for health and beauty brands. If you want to know more about how I made the switch from copywriter to finding my own or starting my own cosmetics line to now being a web designer, you can watch the video that I created on YouTube at HB Lighthouse and learn more about my entire journey to where I am today. So let me go ahead and get started into the topic on Shopify. So I have a bunch of friends who are also entrepreneurs, and I talk to them often about their business and some of the things that they struggle with. And website has always been one of the things that have been challenges for them. So I was in conversation with one, and just figuring out which platform to use was something that she really didn't know what to do about. And I can absolutely attest to that as well, because when I had my cosmetics line, I also wasn't sure which platform to use, and I was on the wrong platform to start. And it was just a hot mess. And I'll get into that a little bit later. But also, hold on, let me fix the camera. So I was also chatting with a new connection of mine on LinkedIn, and she brought up not an idea, but she also used to sell her products on Shopify. And she said something like, Shopify is the more complex shop hosting site for new beginners or just new business owners. And I honestly agree with her, because I do think that because Shopify is so robust, there's so many different things that you can do that it's in your face. It's part of the interface in Shopify. And so it looks overwhelming, and it can be if you allow it to be. So yes, it is complex, but I don't want to necessarily scare anybody and make you seem like, or make you feel like you can't master Shopify or use Shopify, because you absolutely can. Um, Especially if you're starting out, if you're launching a product, there are so many features in Shopify that you don't need to use in the very beginning. Now, if you're redesigning an existing site and you're trying to go from startup to growth or growth to scale, I absolutely recommend turning on some of the tools and using some of the applications that are available in Shopify, because it will just help you grow your business even more. But that is later down the line, when you're like looking to sort of redesign or rebrand your website. You will eventually need to redesign your website at some point. So I think that Shopify is the best platform from the beginning, the very onset of your creating a brand. You should be on Shopify. But I'm going to share a little bit about my experience. So when I started my cosmetics line in 2017, I was actually on WordPress, and that was the worst possible idea. Why were you on WordPress, Genevia? I don't know. But I was on WordPress, and I hired a web designer. So she actually recommended WordPress to me, and I was familiar with WordPress because I was also a beauty blogger, and I had a blog on WordPress. So I was familiar with WordPress, and I was like, oh, WordPress. Okay, cool. Yeah, I can do this. So no, I shouldn't have done that. That was a bad idea. So I'm on WordPress, and because I want to create an online experience, like online retailer, I found myself adding so many plugins to that website to the point where it just became really, really slow, which is not good for an e-commerce website or any website really. because people have really short attention spans and they really need to get to their product quickly. They need to get the information that they need quickly. So I had a really slow website, and it just created a really bad user experience. So like maybe 3 to 6 months later, I completely just migrated everything to Shopify. And I think I actually did it by myself. I don't think anyone helped me during that process, because at that point I was just like over the web designer. And I think she was like out of the country or something and wasn't available. And I was just like, okay, it's time to roll up my sleeves, put on my big girl pants, and figure this out. So I migrated my site from like HostGator, I think it was on, to, I think I switched to like GoDaddy, and then I was on Shopify. And that really like changed the game for me completely. But I still wasn't, I wasn't a designer back then. So I wasn't familiar with layout or anything like that. So I picked a free theme, which is completely fine. I picked a free theme. And these themes, whether you pay for it or not, it's very plug and play. So you're usually just taking your content, whether it's your images, your text, and plugging it in the places in the theme. So you're just replacing it with your information. And that's called like plug and play. So I was doing plug and play. Um, but at the same time, even though I had this theme, it didn't quite seem very unique, and it wasn't um, very on brand. Like I didn't really understand how to design and create a nice layout for my brand. And at some point, I'm going to show everyone what my website looked like on Shopify. It was so basic, it was so dry. And that's because I also didn't understand branding at that time. So the only thing that I had was a logo that I hired someone to create, and I had professional images. I was missing fonts and I was missing colors. So my website was white. It was completely white, but I had real nice images. Could nobody tell me nothing about no images. I had images and I had a logo, and I thought it was really doing something. I wasn't doing anything. It was just not giving anything. But you live and you learn. So, and now I'm here to share all of my experience, the do's and the don'ts. So, this is why I cannot stress enough. You really need to nail your branding, your brand strategy before you have a website, because you don't want to look like a basic website, real plain and boring. But I had images and I had a logo. So, my branding wasn't complete at all. And it just lacked it just lacked everything to be desired. Like it just wasn't, again, it wasn't giving. So don't be like me. Um, and the other hand to that, or not really the other hand, but because I was so limited on what I could do in my theme, that it just didn't look as, I wasn't creating a really great brand experience. And so that's the other thing about not working with a web designer. And I didn't work with a web designer when I had my cosmetics line on Shopify. You're limited to what you can do when you don't have a design background. So I believe in Shopify, all you can really do is add sections. So whatever theme you select, you can add sections, you can move sections around, and then you can change your colors. And that's about it. Um, that is literally it. And sometimes the sections are not as beefy as you want them to be. And when you don't have a design background, and it's not anybody's fault if they are starting a brand and they don't know how to design, you don't need to. That's why you ask people to help you. That's why we are created. God created us to help one another. And so when you ask for help, problem will be solved. But when you try to do it yourself, 9 times out of 10, this is not going to look right. And you're limited to a lot of the things that you can do in Shopify when you don't have a design background and when you're trying to do things yourself. And so that's where people like me, web designers, come in. And if we know how to code, which I do, we are able to create a more stylized website that's more custom to a website that you would love, that is creating a brand experience around that's creating a really great brand experience around your brand. And you can do that with really great design, but if you don't know how to design, it's not going to be as custom as it could be. So that is where a web designer can help you out. So now I kind of want to get into why Shopify is like that girl for selling products. So Shopify is the gold standard when it comes to e-commerce, period, end of story. Ain't no argument there. Like Shopify was created, it was built, it was customized, designed, optimized, like all the words for online retailers. That is why they exist, to literally help online retailers. And if you're selling a product, you are an online retailer, period. And so Shopify is going to help you build your business online. So these other girls out here, I don't really know. I'm not too familiar with some of these other platforms. Of course, WordPress, and that's not going to work for e-commerce because WordPress was built for content. WordPress is built for more service-based brands that have a lot of content, but not brands that are trying to sell anything. And that's why it didn't work for me. And if it didn't work for me, it's not going to work for you, if I'm being honest. And so some of these other websites, like, or platforms, again, I don't know what all the e-commerce ones are, but I just know what my experience has been. WordPress, and then Shopify. I have a Squarespace website for HB Lighthouse. I have to redesign it and work on it, and I just have not gotten to it. But Squarespace is another platform, but it's not for e-commerce. It is for, again, content-based brands, service-based brands. So like coaching, web designers, anyone with a service would be on Squarespace. If you have a product, you should be on Shopify. So now let's get into all of the ways and reasons for why Shopify just makes sense. So let me just make sure I didn't skip anything. So, okay, so one of the really great reasons why people should be on Shopify selling their products is because Shopify offers multiple currencies. So if you are a brand that is looking to expand to other countries and audiences, and just you want an international audience or customer base, they would be able to select which currency they want to purchase products in. So whether that is pounds, euro, um, Canadian dollar, the list goes on. The other reason is that Shopify has the ability to add language selectors. So again, if you are looking to reach international audiences, you're in your growth stage, you're trying to get to scale, which means that you're ready now to expand and add more distribution channels, then you want to consider adding that language selector feature. So then people can, if they live in France, for instance, and they understand or read French, they can be able to switch to French on your website. Another benefit to using Shopify is geolocation. So geolocation is basically having the ability to, um, in Shopify in particular, is you have the ability to make language and country recommendations based on the customer's geographic location, browser, and language device. So, for instance, again, you could scroll down, usually at the bottom of the footer or the bottom of any website is called the footer. And at the footer, there's usually like a section where folks can select their country, they can select the language, and then the entire website changes. The content changes, not the experience necessarily, but the content changes. So now, if they live in, again, France, they can select France, and then the currency would change to euro, and then they can also change the language of the website to French. So they'll see and read everything about your brand. They'll experience your brand in French instead of English. Another good example of geolocation is, so one, I was working for a beauty retailer as a copywriter years ago, and I was working on an email campaign for them, and they used geolocation in their email. So basically, the email campaign was for folks who lived in one region and were experiencing a certain temperature. So we would send an email to folks who were experiencing a temperature above like 60 degrees. So if you were living in a location where the temperature was 60 degrees or above, you would get a certain email. And that email would show you products to use in that climate for your skin. On the other hand, there was another email that we would send. So if you were in a climate that was like 60 degrees and below, so like a little colder, we would send you another email recommending products, skincare products, for your skin in colder temperatures, if that makes sense. So that is another way you can use geolocation. So you can use geolocation not just for making language and country recommendations to your customers based on where they live, where their browser is located, or the language device that they're using, or the device of the language. But you can also use it to offer promotions or discounts to customers in any particular area, like the example that I just gave about the emails. So Shopify allows you to do that. And a lot of these features, like the multiple currency, the language selector, the geolocation, is great if you don't live in the US and you live in France and you're trying to launch a brand and you want to obviously have your brand built in French. You can do that. But like if you're looking to expand in the US, you can have this option. So these are features that are good for those who are launching, because wherever you live is going to be set in that particular language. But if you did have an audience and you are looking to expand and you want to redesign your website, this is also another reason for why you should be on Shopify, because you have access to all of these things. Another reason for why Shopify is great that I wrote down is the search and filter. So it is extremely, and we're back on Instagram Live. Okay, so it is extremely, it's an extremely powerful tool, the shopping filter. So your customers are able to search for products very quickly. So for instance, maybe their friend told them about a product that they purchased. They kind of forgot the name, but they know that it starts with like glow or something. So they're like, okay, I don't remember what the product's name is, but I know it starts with like glow something. So they go to your website and they go to the search function, they type in glow. And every single product that begins with glow will pop up. And then they'll be able to find your product, add it to cart, and check out. So that is another reason for why Shopify is really cool, because it has that feature and it's like a really great feature. And then they also have filtering. So you can filter by price, availability, product type. There are so many things that customers can filter to just find that perfect product for themselves, which is super cool. Then let me see. payment gateways. They have multiple payment gateways. So they have PayPal, of course. I think Amazon, ShopPay, Klarna. They have bank transfer if that's an option that you want to make available to customers. They also have just regional wallets. So whatever brands are available in certain regions, they offer that. So maybe like PayPal is only, this is like an example, but maybe PayPal is only available in Europe. And so like that is called a regional wallet, and that's available in Shopify. And obviously this is nice because it gives customers the options to make payments based on brands that they are comfortable using, brands that they prefer. Maybe they have their wallets, their credit card information saved to a particular account. For instance, I have PayPal, Amazon, and so like if a shop is offering those type of payment gateways, I know that my information is already stored on those websites, and I can easily check out. So it makes people's lives a little bit simpler. Another thing about subscriptions, water break, sorry, is another thing about subscriptions. Another thing about Shopify is the fact that they offer subscriptions and bundles via apps. So you can always add that sort of service or product to your website with apps in Shopify. So even if you're launching a new business, you can from the gate offer um, subscription. You can have a subscription based model, and you can have folks subscribe to receive certain products on a monthly basis, weekly, however you want to set it up. Which is really cool because subscriptions and bundling not only increases your earning potential, so you know that you are making money every week, month, however you set it up, but it also allows you to nurture repeat customers. So you're able to really establish relationships with folks who continually are purchasing from you on whatever cadence you set. So that's an opportunity to get to know them more and to send them more segmented or targeted emails and connect with them in that way, which is also great customer service to know and understand your customers, see what works, what's not working, what they like, what they dislike, and then you refine your business. So I recommend Shopify, to be honest. But so that's another benefit. Also, extensive bulk editing. So instead of, if you have products that are like the same across your collection, instead of literally going in and one by one and making edits, you can edit them all at the same time. And that is what is called bulk editing. And there's a feature in Shopify where you literally just select bulk edit, and it will make all the edits and changes that you need in one sitting, which is helpful to business owners who have so many things to do and wear so many hats. You can easily get things done with bulk editing. Built-in automations is another benefit to Shopify. There are so many different things that you can automate by using Shopify Flow. Shopify actually has a lot of different components to like that are built in. So they have Shopify email. So if you are a new business and you don't have the email marketing dollars to create, or not create, but to purchase a subscription to like Flowdesk or like MailChimp or Klaviyo, you can use Shopify email, and that works just fine. Once you start to move to another stage of your business, you might want to start rethinking about email, and Klaviyo is another great option for email marketing. Another one of my favorite things, and the last thing that I made a note of, is tax monitoring. So Shopify is really great with that. It was my favorite thing when I was using Shopify because I could easily just export sales reports by the quarter, send them to my accountant, and then get my taxes paid. Because who wants IRS to come looking for you? Who wants IRS to come looking for them? Nobody wants IRS knocking on their doors to say anything. So, and nobody wants to owe IRS. Oh my gosh. So I loved everything about how I was able to go in to Shopify and select which quarter I wanted to have the report on. I can customize the dates if I wanted to see how much I made within a certain week or month or year. I could filter that. It was just easy. Everything's there. They have analytics and data to like help you understand the nature of your sales and your online store. So that is all that I have today for Shopify. I think Shopify is a great platform. I am not getting paid for this video. I wish I was, to be honest, because why not? But yeah, I'm not. This is like my opinion. This is my experience on Shopify and on why I think it's really great to be on this platform versus any other one. Um, I also don't really have, I can't say that I have opinions about any other platform because I've never used any other one but Shopify, to be very honest. But it just makes sense. Like it was created for online retailers. So why not? Um, so if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment on this video on YouTube because that's where I am. That's where these videos will live. So just leave a comment and I will get back to you. Questions, comments, feel free to leave them down below this video. Make sure that you are subscribing to this channel. The subscribe button is right there. It's very active. You click on it and a subscribe button will also pop up again. Like this content. We're also on Instagram. We are on TikTok at HB Lighthouse. Very active on TikTok. So check us out on there. Follow us, like our content, watch our content, comment on our content. And I will see you all in the next video. Thank you. Bye. Thank you, YouTube.